there's been some really wacky developments from Republicans in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's death. I saw a screenshot that Erica Kirk, Charlie's wife, was using this as an opportunity to fundraise to help fund Charlie Kirk's movement. Stephen Miller was on Fox News using Kirk's killing to effectively advocate for the jailing of leftist individuals and organizations. But I'm going to fixate on Donald Trump himself because Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk were very close. They were very friendly with one another. Charlie Kirk was effectively a mouthpiece for the Trump administration. He ran propaganda for Donald Trump's regime. Beyond that, Charlie Kirk spent basically the last 10 years advocating for Donald Trump to become president and played a massive role in helping propel him to the presidency. One would suspect that Donald Trump would be showing a little bit more, I guess, melancholy. He'd be a little bit more upset over this when the reality is that Donald Trump does not give a fuck about Charlie Kirk in any capacity. Donald Trump is a raging narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath who is entirely devoid of emitting any sort of heartfelt emotion. The day that Charlie Kirk was killed, he made sure to be the first person to tweet about it. He made sure to be the first person to tweet about the suspect being locked up. On September 11th, instead of grieving over the death of his friend, he was at the Yankee game doing his fucking his dipshit arm movement shit. It was really strange. This was also the same day that JD Vance canceled his 9/11 engagement to go be with Charlie Kirk's family. I don't recall the specifics, but I believe he flew out to be to carry Charlie Kirk's casket into Air Force 2. It really highlights where the president's priorities are. The most elucidating glimpse into Donald Trump's psyche was when he was asked point blank about Charlie Kirk during a press scrum in front of the White House. The journalist goes, "My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. How are you holding up?" You've probably seen this clip already by now, but just listen to Donald Trump's response.
How are you holding up over the last 3.5 days?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually.
Thank you so much.
I understand that everybody processes grief differently. I understand that when you're presented with the tragic death of your friend and someone who was as young as Charlie Kirk, you may not be able to deal with it. And that manifests itself in different ways. It could be anger, it could be denial. There's just a myriad of ways to deal with a sudden loss like this. Donald Trump chooses to turn this question around and make it about himself because he is the one who is putting together this new ballroom for the White House. He is the one who is spending $200 million to put this disgusting ballroom in the White House. He could have very easily said, "I think I'm dealing with it as well as I can be," and just ended it there. Stop the interview. But instead, he had to remind everyone that he is a tremendous narcissist. No one would have been surprised if he didn't want to talk about his fucking friend dying. As I mentioned before, this happened to me last year, literally around this time, like a couple days after Charlie Kirk's death. It was the anniversary of the day that my friend passed away. And I remember letting my mom know about it because I was taking her car to the viewing, and she asked me if I wanted to talk about it. She asked me how I was holding up. She was on vacation at the time with she was on vacation with my dad and his side of the family, and I didn't want to talk about it. I told her that, I'm doing okay, but that's about it. My friend was also 31 years old. It's a natural response to be unsure of how to deal with the situation like this. And I'm not faulting anybody who is like I'm not faulting anybody who is dealing with it in their own way. I'm talking specifically about Candace Owens because it seems like she is dealing with it. She's having a very hard time processing this, which I understand. Donald Trump, however, this is not how a normal person behaves in this situation. I have another clip as well because I was absolutely flabbergasted when I saw this. I was shocked at the response, even though I shouldn't be. Trump says he spoke with Charlie Kirk's family and will attend the funeral. Listen to his verbiage with the funeral.
Charlie Kirk's funeral, sir?
I will be.
You will. Do you know when that
I
will
believe
be?
it's in Arizona. They've asked me to go, and I think I have an obligation to
Do
do
you know
that.
when that will be?
I think I have an obligation to go to my friend's funeral. If you're like, the implication here is that he could not be bothered to take the time out of his day to go mourn his friend. I think I have an obligation to go. I would much rather sit in the West Wing and watch Fox News, but I suppose I will hop on Air Force One and fly over to Arizona and mourn the loss of Charlie Kirk. This was on 9/11, mind you, the same day that he was going to the Yankee game. I wonder, did he feel that he had an obligation to go to the Yankee game? It's just really, it really disgusts me. Again, another anecdote here. When I went to my friend's viewing last year, I did not feel an obligation to go. I wanted to go. I wanted to pay my respects to the deceased, even though even though it was an out of state funeral and it took like 2.5, 3 hours to get there, but that's not the point. When when one of your friends is taken from you abruptly, you should want to go and pay your respects if it's feasible, if it's practical. This is the fucking president of the United States. He can hop on a plane and go to wherever the fuck he wants, whenever he wants. He takes that same fucking plane to Florida every weekend to play golf. And he feels that he has an obligation to go to Arizona. I'm just really disgusted. It really disgusts me, the lack of humanity showcased by the president of the United States. And I'm fucking naive for it because Donald Trump is a fucking demon who at no point has ever expressed any empathy, sympathy, anything like that at any point in his goddamn life. But silly me, I thought that this would be different. I thought that one of his friends being brutally killed would be fucking different. And I was wrong because I'm a fucking dumbass.
I'm hearing I hear next weekend. Whenever it is, I'll be there. I'm hearing next weekend. I spoke to Erica, his wife, and we had a long talk, and she's devastated. She is absolutely devastated, as you can imagine.
That's all the commentary I'm going to provide on Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to talk about him anymore until there are further developments in the case. Oh God. What a shame that Donald Trump is such a fucking buffoon. Say what you will about Joe Biden, but the one thing that I really admired about him was his ability to connect with people on an emotional level. As much as I disliked him, as much as I hated the final 2 years of his presidency, whenever he was presented with a heartbreaking situation, he reflected that. He was a very empathetic, kind, and compassionate individual when he chose to be. And I think that comes from all of the trauma that he dealt with in his life. Obviously, his son Beau dying of brain cancer, his first wife dying in a horrific car crash, losing several family members in that car crash. Donald Trump just does not have any of that. And it's reflective on how like the populace reacts to certain things. Donald Trump is very influential amongst his base, and when his base sees him not having a modicum of sympathy, they're not going to fucking have any either.